Men Pioneers. I'm Ethan Hunter.
And I'm Ben Keller. It's everyone's favorite part of the week, Football Friday night. Now, let's dive into an outstanding week for Pioneer sports.
And what a great week it was for our Nears.
It sure was. This past weekend, girls varsity cross country placed 4th at the Hot Summer Bash at Hilliard-Davidson with 150 points. Our boys placed 6th with 151 points, and overall, Olentangy Orange placed 4th with 87 points.
Upset alert. There's a huge upset for boys soccer this weekend as they took on one of the top teams in the state who hasn't lost at home in 3 years. The boys won 2-1 over Carroll High School.
And the boys also took down rival Olentangy this week. Alex James and Jerry Ashmaid put in 2 shots in the back of the net to push the Pioneers past Olentangy 2-1. Goaltender Aaron Kim has been steady all season, tallying 5 saves in the last 2 wins to lead the boys to a strong 3 wins, 2 ties, no losses out of the gate.
On the girls soccer side, they started off last week with a tie against Tangy 0-0. It was quite an impressive game as goalkeeper Amanda Porbaugh broke the career shutout record of 18.5 games. And the girls continued to dominate throughout the week. Only 9 minutes into their game against Thomas Worthington, senior Hannah Heald scored, setting the tone for a great game and a Pioneer victory 3-0. Finally, in their game on Tuesday, the girls dominated Gahanna Lincoln with goals by Kaylin Vallow, Regan Yamasaki, and Morgan Scott.
Last week, girls tennis really showed up with a big victory against Gahanna, winning 4 out of the 5 matches. In singles, Sproul, Krotkin, and Reed led a great match, all winning in 2 sets. Doubles team Carroll and Innes fought an impressive match against the other team, losing in their 3rd set. Finally, Logan and Deacon defeated their competition in 2 sets, securing an orange win 4-1.
Girls volleyball started off their season last week, playing against Pickerington North on the 3rd, ending in a shutout win of 3-0. They then went on to play Prada Francescan this past Saturday and have a tough loss 0-3. Scores for the non-conference match consisted of scores of 25-23, 25-20, and 25-22, all very close. Their next game is Tuesday, the 8th, at Gahanna. Good luck to those girls.
Field hockey started off their season at Dublin Jerome away. That game ended in a tie at 1-1. On Wednesday, they played Olentangy, ended up with the win 1-0. Also, Monday, August 31st, our girls played Columbus Academy, losing 0-6.
And looking ahead with the next week, we will play Granville High School on Saturday, September 12th, and Upper Arlington High School on Wednesday the 16th, both at home. Make sure you tune in. Best of luck to the field hockey team. Last week, the boys headed to Jefferson Country Club for the Pickerington North Invitational. Junior Luke Johnson had a career low 4 under, a 68 for the Pioneers, and was the individual runner-up at the tournament. As for the rest of the team, Corbin Bentley 73, Jonathan Green shot a 75, Mitch Perdue shot a 78, and Nathan Brown had an 89, with a total score of 294, resulting in placing 3rd. Congratulations to the boys for a great week on the links.
Well, Pioneer School's back in session, and you know what that means, football. Last Friday, the boys took on non-conference opponent Hilliard-Davidson right here on Pioneer Field.
Now, the Nears started off with a bang on the first drive of the game, with Josh Lazier commanding the first drive, both on the ground and in the air, tossing it down the field to Applegate, Shear, and DeSabato, ending the first drive on a Luke Applegate punch-in touchdown.
After a big stop by the defense, the Nears drove down the field again, ending iron. A 2-pass-yard touchdown to Caden Konzak, ending the quarter with a promising 13-0 lead and a pair of great offensive drives.
The Konzak-Lazier connection linked up for one more TD, putting the Pioneers up 20-0 at half. The interior defense held strong with big tackles from Ampadu, Yanka, and Lester.
That's right. Davidson scored once in the second, ending the game at 20-7. QB1 Josh Lazier finished 10 for 15, passing for 98 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also had 34 rushing yards on 12 carries.
And running back Luke Applegate led in rushing with 60 yards and 1 score on 12 carries. Wide receiver Julian DeSabato led in receiving with 5 receptions for 46 yards. But wide receiver Caden Konzak caught 3 passes for only 8 yards, but 2 of them were for touchdowns. That's the most important stat. What a great game for the boys. Now let's break down some of last week's highlights. Last week in our Davidson game, we were going to start off with some offensive highlights for the boys.
Great offense by the Pioneers this last week. Passing the ball was great, but let's start with running first. Luke Applegate had a great game. Here we'll see some of his strong runs that, if you look here, he just pounds the rock inside. He's an interior running specialist. The push from the offensive line really gives him some holes, and he can run with them.
And I have to say, that offensive line is looking very strong. I mean, they're creating holes that just allow him to slide right in there. As you can see here, he goes straight into the end zone for the Pioneers' first score of the night, putting them up 7-0.
One thing we'll have to talk about here, you see the wingback tight end set that Luke Applegate can really just bounce off of. You see the doubling the defensive end to take off. Let's watch how Luke runs here. He's able, Leisure actually takes off here, but he uses the whole and gets to the 1 yard line.
And that's what makes the Pioneers such a dangerous combo is Leisure can run, Applegate can run. You can see here, the defense, when you got a team like this with Leisure has such strong legs, the defense, you can see, Leisure is giving the ball to Luke there, but the defense can't know that right until you see him actually get the ball because of Josh's strong running throughout the weeks. Sometimes he does that with the pass as well. The defense, especially the corners, have such a tough job watching Leisure with his eyes and seeing where he's going to go with the ball. And
he's a deadly pocket passer who can also kind of scramble. You see right here, he's dropping back in the pocket. He's got his feet set. He's looking downfield, doesn't see anything, finds the hole, and takes off for a good gain, getting the first down on a 12-yard run.
That's right. I mean, he is just absolutely electric out there on the ground as well as in the air. As we're going to see passing here, obviously Josh Leisure, QB1, had a great game, 98 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Here's one thing that the Pioneers love to do is these screen plays. Over here you'll see it's to Julian DeSabato. And if you watch, just incredible blocking once again by the whole, I mean, everybody on this team can block. The receivers, the tight ends, the guards. That's what makes this team so deadly, especially with those screen passes.
And here's a red zone threat. You got Caden Konzak, like you mentioned, only 8 yards, but 2 touchdowns because this guy is slippery. He can get open on any man. Not the biggest guy, but he finds space in every way possible. He's down at the – look at that. You got 2 guys guarding him, and he just reels it in.
There's nothing you can do about that. Huge jumping ability by Konzak. You know, I have to say, Ben, about that pass, Coach Schroeder likes to call the red zone the green zone because that's where the money is made, and they sure did make some money in the red zone. All 3 of their touchdowns coming from that area.
Now you got to pass to wingback Logan Shear, who's a really big in the blocking game, but here he gets out away from the defense and is able to be found in the slot. Great play by him to kind of push out the block and then get open.
Yeah, they're just absolutely lethal, both interior across the middle as well as those flash out to the sideline and the screen plays. I mean, there's just nothing. You never know what's going to happen with the ball on the Pioneers, and I think that's what allowed them to score 20 points in the first half.
One thing about this play right here that I love, Joey Bugenti, you see him down here right in the bottom, but Josh Leisure does not look at Joey once until he's going to throw it to him. He knows that Joey's getting open across the middle of the field. Wait, he's looking, finds him right over the defense.
And, I mean, what an incredible route by Joey there to stop and go. I mean, as a defender, as a corner, that's scary. That is absolutely scary.
Once again, Caden Konzak, you see him here in the slot. He's going to get open once again in the end zone. Look at him. Right off, goes right toward the pylon. Cut, out, right at the pylon. Leisure finds him. Touchdown, Pioneers.
Yeah, and I mean, once he gets on the outside, Leisure has that pinpoint accuracy, like he's throwing right in the bullseye, and it'll get into your hands any day of the week.
Now another pass to Julian DeSabato, who is a great get the ball and yards after catch. Leisure escaping the pocket. He's got that mobility. He's able to escape, finds Julian, and Julian can take off and get some extra yards.
Yeah, you know, you've seen Leisure could have taken off there, but Julian has that shifty juke moves that he can implement on the field, and there's just no telling which way the defense is going to go. Actually, yes, there is. It's on the ground.
Speaking of defense, Pioneer defense had a great game as well. 7 points. Let's see. We got some in the slot. You got great corner play right there by Junior Sarpong, a younger player who's been taking a huge role, starting corner right there. Big hit on the screen pass, and their defense is electric after that.
They are absolutely electric. I mean, holding them to 0 points in the first half, that's a hard feat to do here. Now, you can see Jaden Ampadu on this play on the line. Our linemen have been so deadly, especially, and as well as our linebackers. You see, you just can't get a pass off like that with that speed. Coming off the line, coming from the linebackers in the box. I mean, see, as you can see right here, we're packing, what is that, 7 players up in the box, 8 players in the box. I mean, with like that, you can't run up the middle. There's nowhere to go. You have to force it out to the outside where we have Joey and Junior out there on the ends. And you can see
Ampadu just getting in there.
it's not going anywhere.
On the next play, you got Junior Sarpong again. Pass breakup. He's ready for it. He's coming in up from the top of your screen. They try to pass it over the middle. Boom, he is there. Almost gets the pick. Great play by him. He's a little upset, but no need for that when you have a great pass
No, I believe
block.
that was 3rd down, and the next play was a punt.
How about Big Lester? Big man in the middle. This guy is an animal. Look at him right there, just defensive tackle. You are not running anywhere when you see a 6'3", 220-pound man sitting in your way.
And you know, if you're Tannor Lester out there and you've got that big frame, the running back's going to run straight into you. He's not getting away from that. There's no way.
But if he tries to run outside, just like that play we saw right there, Ampadu, the defensive end, is there. You cannot get anywhere. Now, Joey Bugenti, roaming free safety, cornerback, kind of a really good, just all-around secondary player. You'll see him with his eyes on the quarterback the entire time, watching him here. Passes coming across the middle, and he's there. He gets in on the quarterback, gets his hands up, and drives into the receiver.
And you can see that's just an absolutely textbook break up there. Not leading with his head or anything, straight for the shoulder, into the gut. There's no way that you're catching that ball after that. And this is one of my favorite parts of the game right here, the goal line stand. Now, 4th down is what got them their only 7 points of the night, but this goal line defense showed strong. You can see here when we play it that they will hand it off to the running back. Now, you had 2 fullbacks in there to try to block that, give him a hole. You weren't getting anywhere, especially with that strong line, Lester, Ampadu, and Yanka up there just pounding them back, and they're not going anywhere. Even if you don't wrap them up, they're going to force them back, and somebody else will get them. And
Yanka gets them there. Now, same play, trying it again. You got the 3 linebackers, you got the 4 down linemen, and once again, just like Ethan was saying, you're not getting anywhere on these guys. They're just going to push and get those linemen back. Not going anywhere. Yeah. Running back tries to go over the top. He is stuffed.
And, you know, he has all the momentum running into that as we transition back over from highlights. But he has all of the momentum jumping into those guys, and they're not going to let him go anywhere. You have to have some strong feet, and you have to really pound yourself in and get that tackle, and they did, forcing 4th down on the goal line. So now, moving away from highlights, let's look at what to expect for tonight's game against Kaufman.
Orange will be marching into undefeated territory as Kaufman has an impressive wins against Jerome and our rival Liberty.
That's right. It wasn't easy though, as Kaufman fell behind Olentangy Liberty 14-0 in the first half, but came back for a 24-17 victory as their defense held the Patriots scoreless in the second half.
Kaufman quarterback Connor Matthews was dangerous for 13 for 15 and 234 yards and 2 touchdowns against Liberty. He was throwing bombs that night, but he was also using his legs, 85 yards rushing on 18 carries.
And they're not a one-trick pony, as running back Brian Threats ran for 69 yards and 1 touchdown on 10 carries, and also had 5 receptions for 108 yards and 1 score. Slotback Sharon Phipps had 5 receptions for 88 yards, which included the game-winning 67-yard touchdown early in the 4th quarter. So, Ben, what are you thinking about tonight's game against Kaufman?
Well, one thing that I find interesting is Orange's big box play like you were talking about on defense. They have strong safety Colin McNay. He is a good run game. He gets in there and makes huge tackles, strong safety, where you'll see him up in the box. I think you got the 3-back, Joey, Junior. I think you got to get Colin back there, too. I don't know if Schroeder will do that but he might keep the same defense that he's doing, but I feel like Colin in the passing game could be really important.
Yeah, and you never know what that defense is going to do. Sometimes they drop back, sometimes they load up the box. And Schroeder's really good at predicting what play is going to be run by the offense, and they usually have it right on the first time. Another thing I think on offense, Leisure will be deadly for this offense. As you saw, Liberty scored on their opening 2 drives, just like we did on Friday. So hopefully if we can get that, we won't lose the game like Liberty did. They're so good at that, but we won't let that happen this Friday, I'm hoping. And I hope that we see a big Pioneer win for the boys.
Well, you were talking about how Liberty kind of had a strong start. Most of that was their passing game. Their passing game was huge. And I feel like if Leisure can really just take charge and get some passes across to his receivers, I feel like it could pay off big for Pioneers scoring touchdowns.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it plays out on the field tonight. And we're very excited to see, we're very excited to see the outcomes of the game and cheer on the Nears.
Make sure that you check out Dublin Kaufman's live stream of the game. We will be posting the link on Twitter at OOHSJuice. OOHSJuice.
That's right. And for Ben and Ethan here in the studio, we will see you next time.
Enjoy the game.
Howdy Pioneers, I'm Tannor Lambert.
And I am Regan Yamasaki. Welcome to your slice of Orange Sports.
This is the first ever long format sports show the Juice has ever put on. It's going to be a fluid show that looks a little different every week, but we're excited to bring you Orange coverage. Let's get started with some game breakdown for tonight. The Dublin Shamrocks running back Byron Threats, who week 1 had 195 total scrimmage yards, 4 total touchdowns, 3 rushing and 1 receiving. He's going to be a guy to look for tonight for sure. Last week against Liberty, he caught a 69-yard touchdown pass heading into halftime. But the Kaufman quarterback, Connor Matthews, was the player to watch that game with a total of 3 passing touchdowns. Kaufman is now 2-0 after shellacking Jerome week 1 41-6 and coming back and beating Liberty 24-17. They have a two-dimensional offense with a solid defense that can make stops when needed. The Rocks have the ability to score quickly, and they are able to slow down the game and move at their own pace if it's needed. They will need to keep the ball out of Josh Lazer's hands tonight to keep that Pioneer defense on the field and run out the clock.
Now for the Pioneers, Josh Lazier, quarterback last week, 12 out of 15 passing, 98 yards and 2 touchdowns, 12 rushes for the 34 yards. Josh Pearson, running back last week, 12 rushes, 34 yards. Luke Applegate is questionable this week. He had 60 yards rushing last Friday. We hope the best for him. Caden Konzak, 3 rec for 8 yards and 2 touchdowns. Julian DeSabato, 5 receptions, 47 yards. The Pioneer defense had so many team tackles last week, and they will look to continue that tonight. That was the best way for them to stop the Wildcat triple option last week, crowding the line of scrimmage and swarming the ball. Look for that tonight. Joey Gogenti had 9 solo tackles last week. Jaden Appadou had 3.5, with 1 loss and Isaac Campbell as well as Luke Houston both had 3.5 tackles.
Be on the lookout for a Pioneer plan more like week 2's game, where they were able to keep the clock rolling. The Kaufman offense can score from anywhere, though, and they can score in small-time situations. They had 2 touchdowns for over 60 yards last week. If the Kaufman defense is stuck on the field, it keeps Threats and Matthews on the sideline. Josh Lazier is going to have to get it done with his legs tonight, but he proved last week he can get it done with his arm just as well. Dom Silvestri, Carter Bluval, and Ryan Minot, along with the rest of the Pioneer offensive line, are going to need to give Lazier and Pearson time to make plays in the backfield and open up the game for Orange. Joey Guagenti and Colin McNay, along with the rest of that stellar Pioneer defense, are going to have to keep the Pioneers in this one. If it does become a shootout, look for junior Andre Robinson with some speed over the top. The Pioneer offense will need to get it done to beat these Shamrocks because their defense can stop them. Coach Schroeder's going to have his team ready to go, but the boys on the field are the ones that have to get it done.
This week, 4 athletes were chosen to be in a poll conducted on Orange Sports Live. They included Caden Konzak, who caught 3 passes for 8 yards. 2 of those receptions were touchdowns to put Orange on top of Hilliard-Davidson. Luke Johnson, a varsity Pioneer golfer who shot a 4 under par, 68 at the Pickerington North Invite at Jefferson County Club, which let him place 2nd individually and helped the team place 3rd. Natalie Au, a girls varsity golfer who was named first team All-OCC, and Amanda Porball, the general, who is the girls soccer goalkeeper. She has had 2 shutouts last week, one against Olentangy and the other against Thomas Worthington.
Amanda Porball won the poll with 43% of the 404 votes cast. With those 2 shutouts, Amanda broke the career shutout record at Orange. A season after, she broke the single-season shutout record, and she helped lead the team to the Elite 8. She's on pace to reset that record this year. Porball committed during her sophomore year to Happy Valley to join the Penn State and Indy Lions on the pitch. We'd like to congratulate Amanda and her team, which she couldn't do it without. A great start to the year for the girls soccer team, and we want to wish them the best the rest of the way. Now, let's look at some of the upcoming Pioneer events in the next week.
Girls volleyball. On the 15th, girls volleyball is playing Dublin Kaufman High School away at 7 p.m. On the 17th, girls play Upper Arlington at home, 7 p.m. And to round off the week on Saturday at 11:30 a.m., the girls face off Upper Arlington here at Orange High School.
Boys golf. Monday the 14th, they'll be at Zanesville Country Club at 9 a.m. and the 19th at Denison Country Club for an OCC matchup at 8:30.
Girls golf. Thursday the 17th, girls golf goes to Oak Haven for a duel against Delaware Hayes.
Boys soccer. On Tuesday, the varsity boys will play their only game of the week in an OCC division game against Hilliard-Davidson here at Pioneer Field at 7:15.
Girls soccer. On Tuesday, our varsity girls are traveling to Hilliard-Davidson for their game at 7:15 p.m. On Saturday morning, the girls suit up for a noon game here at Bishop Watterson.
Boys cross country and girls cross country have a duel on 9/16 against Westerville Central at WC.
On the 16th, girls field hockey team prepares for a 7 p.m. game against Upper Arlington.
Football. For Football Friday night, our boys get ready to play at home under the lights against Upper Arlington at 7 p.m. Look for that game to be live streamed here on the Juice. Look at OOHS Juice on Twitter for all the details.
All right, sounds good. Tanner, you ready for another full week of sports?
You better believe it, Yama. It's going to be a great week. The Pioneers have a lot of chance to get divisional points and look to start to get their stride as they head into the playoffs. Thanks for watching the first ever long format sports show here from the Juice. Your slice of orange sports will be back next Friday. For all of us, Ben, Ethan, Yama, and myself, we say go Pioneers and have a great weekend.